United States, Aspen, Colorado. When a homeless black boy stumbles upon a lost toddler in the mountains, he does more than just save a life. He changes his future forever. Malik Carter, a 7-year-old black boy, has been living in the rugged terrain of the Aspen Mountains for weeks, surviving off scraps and the little food he can gather. His family was torn apart, and he's been forced to survive on his own with no one to turn to for help. Despite his harsh circumstances, Malik holds on to hope for a better future. One day, while walking along a familiar trail, Malik stumbles upon a toddler, lost and scared, alone in the mountains. The child, dressed in a warm jacket, is shivering, unaware of the danger surrounding him. Malik's heart skips a beat. He knows the child's family is wealthy and well-known in Aspen. This is no ordinary toddler, but in this moment, none of that matters. He has to act fast. Without hesitation, Malik scoops up the child and begins to carry him through the treacherous terrain, using all his survival knowledge to keep them both safe. The thought of being caught or the child's parents finding out never crosses his mind. What matters is getting the child to safety. Malik's mind is clear and his focus is unwavering. As he makes his way through the mountains, the weight of the situation becomes clearer. Every step feels heavy with responsibility, but Malik is determined. He knows that this child's life depends on his actions. His muscles ache with exhaustion, and the climb grows steeper with every step, but he keeps moving, driven by the need to protect this innocent life. The mountains around him feel both beautiful and intimidating, but Malik's resolve doesn't waver. He keeps his eyes on the path ahead, blocking out the freezing cold wind and the isolation that surrounds him. Each step takes him closer to safety, and with each step, Malik feels a surge of determination. He will not let this child suffer. He will not let him fall into the hands of danger. Malik's heart races as he navigates through the difficult terrain. He climbs rocks and pushes through brush, but his mind is solely focused on the child in his arms. It doesn't matter how hard the journey is. It only matters that the child survives. The thought of failure is not an option. Despite the hardship, Malik never once questions his decision. The act of saving a life, regardless of the circumstances, outweighs all else. What would you do if you found yourself in a life or death situation and you had the chance to save someone's life? As Malik climbs over rocks and navigates through the dangerous wilderness, the toddler's cries echo in the cold mountain air. The sound is sharp, a desperate plea for safety. Malik's heart races, and his legs feel heavier with each step. He knows that the distance between them and safety is growing, but the terrain is unforgiving, and time is running out. Malik reassures the child, trying to keep both of their spirits up. "We're going to make it out of here." "You're going to be okay," he says, his voice filled with urgency, though his own heart is trembling with fear. Despite the overwhelming sense of dread, he keeps moving forward, his instincts driving him to keep going no matter what. The cold air stings his skin, the exhaustion in his limbs nearly too much to bear. Malik knows that if he stops now, neither of them will make it. But he doesn't hesitate. Despite the overwhelming odds and the cold, Malik pushes forward, refusing to let the toddler fall into danger. The weight of the child in his arms is both a burden and a reminder of what's at stake. Every step is more challenging than the last, and yet he can't stop. He won't stop. After hours of trekking, Malik's breath grows shallow, his body aching from the physical strain. His muscles are sore, and his vision blurs with exhaustion. But then he spots a clearing in the distance. His mind, foggy with fatigue, registers the sight of hope. He knows they're getting closer to safety, but the reality of their situation weighs heavily on him. They're not out of danger yet, and he knows the hard part is far from over. He pushes forward, focusing on the toddler's safety, his determination stronger than ever. Every step takes them closer to a future neither of them could have predicted. As Malik moves, his thoughts are consumed with the child's well-being. The only thing that matters is getting them both to safety. Malik fights against the physical and emotional exhaustion that threatens to overtake him. He's scared, tired, and unsure of what lies ahead, but the child's cries keep him focused. It's a battle against the elements, against his own limits, but he refuses to let go. He knows that stopping is not an option. Failure is not an option. The trek seems endless. Malik's throat feels dry, his body trembling with cold and fatigue, but he keeps going, step by step. His body screams for rest, but his resolve is stronger. The thought of failure, the thought of not making it, isn't something he can afford. Every inch of progress is a victory, and Malik counts every step as a triumph. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Malik reaches a safe area. He can see the distant outline of the town in the valley below, and the sight fills him with a sense of accomplishment and relief. He's done it. He's gotten the child to safety. The weight of the journey begins to lift. But before he can relax, he hears the distant sound of voices, search parties looking for the missing child. Malik knows his work is not done. He has to make sure they're found. As he waits for help to arrive, Malik is overwhelmed by a sense of pride and purpose. He has done what he set out to do. He has saved a life. The moment of heroism that he never expected to define his future will now shape it forever. Both he and the child are safe. But Malik knows that this moment will change everything for them. He has faced the impossible and triumphed. And his future, from this day forward, will be shaped by the choices he made in those crucial moments of survival. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to push past your limits to save someone? How did it feel? As Malik and the toddler finally reach the edge of the forest, a luxury car pulls up, its engine purring in the distance. The car stops, and out steps the toddler's father, a well-known billionaire, and his wife. Their eyes widen in shock as they see Malik, holding their child in his arms. The billionaire rushes to them, his face pale with fear. "What happened? How did you find my son?" he asks, his voice trembling. Malik, exhausted but relieved, explains how he found the child alone in the wilderness and carried him to safety. The billionaire looks at Malik in disbelief, overwhelmed by the boy's bravery. "You saved my son's life," he says, his voice filled with gratitude. Malik, still processing everything that has happened, simply nods. He doesn't feel like a hero, just a kid who did what he knew needed to be done. "I'm just glad I could help," Malik says quietly, his voice filled with humility. He hadn't done it for any reward or recognition. He had just seen a child in danger and acted. But the billionaire insists. "I will never forget this. You're a hero," he says. And for the first time, Malik feels something shift in him. It isn't the praise that makes him feel different, but the acknowledgement of his worth. He sees the gratitude in the billionaire's eyes, and it makes him realize something important. Even though his circumstances have often made him feel invisible, today he's been seen. The billionaire's wife steps forward and places a hand on Malik's shoulder. "Thank you," she says with genuine warmth. "You've changed our world, Malik." "We owe you more than just our thanks." Malik, still in a daze, doesn't know what to say. He never expected something like this to happen. A few moments ago, he was a homeless boy struggling to survive, and now he's standing here, in front of the family of the child he saved, with his whole life about to change. After a few more words of gratitude, the billionaire hands Malik an envelope. Inside is a check for $1 million, along with a letter offering him a full scholarship to any school of his choice. "I want you to have the future you deserve," the letter reads. "This is just the beginning. You are meant for great things." Malik stares at the check, stunned, as his life shifts in a way he could never have imagined. For a boy who had nothing, this was everything. "I don't know what to say," Malik mutters, overwhelmed by the enormity of the situation. The millionaire smiles. "Say yes to a better future. We'll be here to support you every step of the way." The realization begins to sink in slowly, and Malik feels a mix of emotions: disbelief, excitement, and gratitude. But most of all, he feels hope for the first time in years. What would you do if you found yourself in a life or death situation, and you had the chance to save someone's life? The next day, Malik is shocked when a luxury car arrives at his small cabin in the mountains. The car stops smoothly, and its polished exterior gleams in the sun. Malik stands frozen, unsure of what to make of the scene unfolding before him. A sleek black vehicle, far too extravagant for someone like him, has parked in front of his humble cabin. The car door opens, and out steps the billionaire's assistant, dressed sharply in a suit. The assistant walks towards Malik, who can hardly process what is happening. He hands Malik an envelope with a soft smile. The envelope's weight in Malik's hands like the weight of the world itself. Malik opens it cautiously, his mind racing. Inside the envelope is a check for $5 million. Malik's eyes widen in disbelief as he stares at the digits on the paper, unable to comprehend how such an amount could be real. The cold mountain air feels suddenly distant as he holds the check, his fingers trembling slightly. He feels a sense of wonder and shock coursing through his veins. For a boy who had once struggled to make ends meet, this windfall is more than just money. It's a new life waiting to unfold. Along with the check, there is a letter from the billionaire himself, thanking Malik for his bravery and courage. The letter reads, "You have earned more than just money. You've earned a chance at a new life. This is yours, Malik. Use it wisely." The words resonate deeply with Malik, and though he never expected such an extravagant gesture, he knows this moment will change everything for him. Malik stands still for a moment, unsure of how to respond, the enormity of the situation sinking in. He never imagined his life would take such a turn, never imagined that one selfless act could lead to something so life-changing. Despite everything he has been through, he feels a weight lifted from his shoulders, the possibilities of his future opening up in front of him. The assistant tells Malik that the billionaire also wants to send him to a prestigious school on a full scholarship, ensuring that he'll have access to the best education money can buy. "This is just the beginning," the assistant says with a smile. "We want you to have the future you deserve." Malik can hardly find the words to thank him. He hasn't even processed what's happening yet. The scholarship, the money, it's all too much to absorb in one moment. But one thing is clear: Malik's life has just changed. He doesn't know how he's going to make sense of all this, but the thought of a better future feels real now. He has hope. For the first time, the boy who had nothing is beginning to see that he could have everything. Malik's mind races as he looks at the check and the letter. He knows that with this new chance, he can help not just himself but others in his community who have been forgotten, just like he was. He thinks of the struggles he's faced and the people who've looked down on him. Now, he has a chance to prove that anyone, no matter their background, deserves a better life. As he stands there, overwhelmed but filled with hope, Malik looks up at the assistant and says, "Thank you, but I won't forget where I came from. I'll make sure to do something good with this." And with that, Malik's journey begins. A journey not just of survival, but of thriving against the odds. What would you do if you were suddenly given a life-changing fortune? What would you do with it? Malik's sudden wealth raises eyebrows in his community. Some people congratulate him, while others question whether he truly deserves such a fortune. Why would a billionaire give a homeless kid like him so much money? One neighbor whispers, "What's the catch?" Even Malik's family feels conflicted. "Are you sure this is right, Malik?" his mother asks, unsure of how to handle this sudden change. She's proud of him, but the idea of such a large sum of money, especially for someone in their position, makes her nervous. She worries about the potential consequences of this windfall. Malik can feel the tension in the air, the judgment that hangs over him like a cloud. Malik feels the weight of the judgment, but he remains determined to use the money for good. He knows this is his chance to break free from the cycle of poverty that has defined his life for so long. The money represents a future where he can pursue his dreams, get an education, and help those who are still struggling. But at the same time, the scrutiny he faces from others is overwhelming. Everyone has an opinion on what he should do with it. Some of the neighbors who once ignored him now offer unsolicited advice on how to spend the money. "You should buy a big house," one says. "Don't let anyone tell you how to live," another adds. But Malik knows better. He doesn't want to waste the opportunity. He's seen what happens when people get lost in the superficial trappings of wealth. He wants more for himself than just material possessions. What he wants most is to help those in his community who've never had the chance to succeed. Malik is still adjusting to his new life, but the pressure to make the right choices is immense. He wonders whether he's the right person to make those choices, given everything he's been through. Would people see him as someone who deserved the money? Or would they continue to see him as a poor, homeless boy who had somehow been given a break? Despite the doubts, Malik is determined to prove that he is worthy of this opportunity. He can't change how others see him, but he can control what he does with his wealth. He knows that this moment will define him. "I've been given a chance, and I won't squander it," Malik says to himself, standing in front of the mirror, looking at the check and the scholarship letter once more. "I have a responsibility to do something good with this." He knows it won't be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But for the first time in his life, he believes that he can build a future for himself, free from the limitations of his past. Malik decides that he will use his newfound wealth to not only secure his future, but to help those who are still stuck in the same cycle he was once in. He starts a community program to provide scholarships, mentorships, and other opportunities for young people in his neighborhood, giving them the same chance he was given. The money isn't just for him. It's for the whole community. The wealth has brought Malik more than just material possessions. It has given him a sense of purpose and a chance to change his life and the lives of others for the better. He feels empowered to make a real difference, not just for himself, but for the people who have always been there for him. What do you think the world would be like if we used our wealth and opportunities to help others? With the fortune he's received, Malik moves to a new home and begins his education at a prestigious school. The luxury and resources available to him now seem almost unreal, but Malik takes it all in stride. He knows that this moment is just the beginning of a much larger journey. Every step forward represents a chance to break free from the limitations of his past. He also starts a foundation to help other kids in need, using part of his newfound wealth to ensure they have the same opportunities he now has. The foundation is built on the principles of support, education, and empowerment, providing scholarships, mentorships, and tools to help young people reach their full potential. Malik sees this as his way of paying it forward, ensuring that others who were once in his position will have the chance to succeed. As he settles into his new life, Malik reflects on what really matters. The money, the house, the education, these are all just tools. The true value of the fortune isn't in the wealth itself. It's in the opportunities it provides for Malik to make a difference, not only in his life, but in the lives of others. His past struggles have given him the perspective to understand what is truly important, using his success to help those who are still struggling, just as he once was. Malik realizes that the real power of his newfound wealth lies in his ability to shape his future and the future of others. He's no longer just trying to survive. He's creating opportunities for those who will come after him. Every decision he makes is guided by the understanding that he can create a ripple effect of change, one person at a time. As Malik looks toward the future, he knows that this is just the beginning. He has much work to do, work that goes beyond personal gain. He has the power to inspire, to give hope, and to create real, lasting change in the world around him. He is determined to make the most of this chance he's been given, not for himself, but for the generations that will come after him. What do you think the world would be like if we used our wealth and opportunities to help others? Years later, Malik returns to the mountains to speak at a community event, sharing his story of bravery, kindness, and overcoming adversity. As he stands on the stage, he reflects on the incredible journey he's taken. He remembers the boy he once was, struggling to survive, and how a single moment of courage forever altered the course of his life. Malik speaks to the audience with passion and sincerity, his voice filled with emotion. One act of kindness can change your entire life, he says. The crowd listens intently, captivated by his words and the depth of his experience. Malik shares how a simple decision to help a toddler in the mountains led to a series of events that transformed not just his life, but also the lives of many others. He speaks about the power of compassion, how one person's generosity can create a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the original act. He encourages the young people in the audience to remember that their actions, no matter how small, can have a lasting impact. It's not about what you have or where you come from. It's about what you do with what you're given. Malik continues, emphasizing how important it is to use one's opportunities to help others. Malik talks about the foundation he started with his newfound wealth, a foundation that helps provide education and resources to kids in underserved communities, just like he once was. When I got my chance, I promised myself I would give others the same chance. It's not just about success. It's about using your success to lift others up. The crowd listens in silence, absorbing his words. They see the young man before them, standing as a living example of what kindness and perseverance can achieve. Malik's story is one of redemption, hope, and change, and he wants them to understand that no matter how difficult life may seem, they too can create positive change in the world. As Malik leaves the stage, he looks out over the audience, knowing that his journey isn't just about the fortune he received. It's about the legacy of kindness he's created. His actions, his story, and his mission are all intertwined with the idea of giving back. He walks off the stage, proud of what he's accomplished, but even more determined to continue the work he's started. The next generation is listening, and Malik knows that his story will inspire others to embrace compassion, resilience, and the belief that they can make a difference. What's one lesson from Malik's story that you think the world needs to hear?